And this March I graduated at the LAMELIS8thJuly2016 in Germany, in Aachen, and in lasers in dentistry. I have been using lasers for 6 years now, and I really like it. So I will talk about clinical situations, and I hope I won't talk that much into details, but if yes, please stop me. And because I know that not all of you are coming from the field of medicine, and that's why please be patient, and also because I don't use my English so often, so if I have some faults, then please forgive me. So first I would like just very briefly talk about the biophysical background and laser tissue interaction, because the former speaker was talking about it very nicely, so I'm really helped out in this thing. So what you have to know is, in any field of medicine, if you want to use a laser, you have to first know which tissue you want to cure or treat with the laser, because it's very important what kind of tissue you have. Of course, the most important, what wavelength you have, and then after all the things, energy density, time of exposition, cooling components like in the field of dentistry, blood vessels, water, contact or non-contact mode, you touch the tissue or you do not touch it, pulse duration and hertz rate, but I'm sure you know all this a lot better. In dentistry, the main chromophores are melanin, hemoglobin, and water. It cannot be really seen, it's very light, and hydroxyapatite. So, and in dentistry, we mainly use diode lasers and the erbium family. And what has been mentioned before is the Nd:YAG is very similar to the diode lasers, but it's more often used together with erbium YAG. Actually, it's in one machine. The other erbium is erbium chromium YHCG. Is not in one machine with the diodes, but it has to be used in combination always. So whenever you want to treat a tissue, you have to check this absorption curve. This is the most important thing ever. And if you want to treat a tissue, for example, the gingiva, which contains melanin and hemoglobin and water, then mostly you would choose a diode laser, because that absorbs in melanin, hemoglobin and water, so it can be cut with it and treated with it. If you want to affect hard tissue like hydroxyapatite, because like hydroxyapatite can be found in all hard tissues of the dental area, then of course you would choose something where the hydroxyapatite is absorbed more. And as you can see in the erbium family, it's very high, the hydroxyapatite, and also the water is very high. But the best would be the CO2, but the wavelength, the perfect wavelength of the CO2 for the dental application does not exist yet. It's just in theory, because the 10.6 exists and the 9.3 exists, but the best would be the 10.3, and it does not exist. But with the erbium family lasers, the hydroxyapatite can be treated very well. So let's see first will not talk about those diode lasers which have lower wavelengths, the 600 and so on, because they do not have efficiency in cutting. So I will only talk about those diode lasers which are really used in dentistry and also have got the possibility to cut and not only biostimulate like the ones with lower wavelengths. So in this way we can distinguish which is which wavelength is good for what. Here the absorption curve is very much extended in order to see these little differences between these wavelengths. Actually, it has been long ago since 810 and 980 are on the market, and they have got absorption curve and optical properties that the 810 absorbs in melanin very much and very high, and also in hemoglobin and oxyhemoglobin, but very, very low in water. So in this way, if you want to cut a tissue, you will have a lot of carbonization if the tissue contains melanin and hemoglobin in higher levels, and because it does not absorb in water so much, just very little, that's why you're going to have carbonization. So this is the disadvantage of the 810. And of course, with 810, it's very hard to bleach because the bleaching gel is actually just water and pigments, and that's why it's not too efficient to bleach with an 810. But if we check the 980, then the melanin is lower, a lot lower than in the 810, and also the hemoglobin, oxyhemoglobin. So with this laser, it's very hard to cut a whitish tissue because it does not contain enough melanocytes in order to cut it nicely. But with the 980, it's very easy and very efficient to bleach, for example, because it absorbs in water a lot. So actually, they call this machine not diode laser 980, but something bright smile or whatever the name is, because of the very good bleaching properties. And that's why, because this has got this disadvantage, what I've told, the 980, the other one, they wanted to find out something which combines the two, so it would be more efficient for both treatments and would be better for a dentist to buy just one laser instead of two, of course. So they have found out that 940 has got, of course, lower absorption in melanin, but better than in 980, and also the water is like 400% better absorption than in 810, so you can cut very nicely and clean with it. And of course, the bleaching process is also enough effective in order to have the patient happy, and it could be done actually. So this is what I was talking about, that it's a better absorption in hemoglobin and oxyhemoglobin for better coagulation than 980, and better absorption in water for cleaner cut, and it's very ideal for soft tissue treatments like throwing before taking impression, before making a crown or whatever, and soft tissue crown lengthening, so we take off the gingiva, and then in this way we can still preserve the tooth, because under the gingiva you cannot work, so if you take it then it's very nice. Actually, if you of course we work with the 940, and if it's bleeding it's very important, the periodontal treatments, because we kill bacteria with the diode laser. Almost all bacteria has got some kind of chromophores in them, and that's why the batteries absorbs the energy, and of course it will be destroyed. And then also disinfecting perio pockets. Sorry for this is half Hungarian, half English, but I'm gonna tell you. So we use these diode lasers as an adjunct in the periodontal therapy, and this is not the only instrument treating the perio pockets. Of course, first you disinfect with the laser, then after you do your mechanical curettage, and then after you do the laser curettage, and all this will help you to disinfect so much and so effective that many times you don't need antibiotics and so on to treat very severe periodontal cases. And of course the laser, because if you apply it with power like 1-2 watt and continuous wave, on the surface where you apply it, it will have that big power, 1-2 watts. But as it goes deeper, of course it lost power, but still there will be enough power in a distance in order to have its biostimulation effect. So it's a kind of a double effect for the diode lasers when we use them. And the most important bacteria is the AA bacteria. I cannot pronounce it because it's so long, but that's the most dangerous in the perio pocket. And for this AA bacteria, they found in the literature that if you do it with the laser, after 3 months, you have to do it again, because these bacteria are migrating in the gingiva, so they come again close to the perio pocket, and then again you have to disinfect with the laser, and then they disappear. But with the antibiotics, actually you cannot do it for such a long time, and after you mechanically did the curettage, AA will never disappear. So with the laser you can do also this type of treatment. Because the blood contains a lot of color, hemoglobin and oxyhemoglobin, it takes the laser, actually it absorbs the laser, so the laser won't reach to the bone, it won't affect the bone, so you cannot do any harm. What we do, actually, these are the steps of the treatment. Of course, not too much information to you, but what we do is initiating. The end of the fiber has to be initiated. It means we have to create a black surface at the end of the fiber in order that all the energy would focus there, and then we can cut or removal. Of course, we do the removal of marginal epithelium, then we remove the inner side of the pocket, the granulation tissue and all this infected epithelium, and then it's very important to remove the outer side of the epithelium of the papilla, 2-4 millimeter wide. I will just show you in pictures. So here we can see that we go inside inside the pocket. We remove the, and this is called the initiation. This is black, and this is not black because of the blood, but it's black because we made it black before. And remove all the granulation tissue and the inner epithelium, and then also on the proximal side, in between the teeth, and then we do the outer part, de-epithelializing the outer part of the gingiva. Why do we do this? Because we want to stop the biology. If you remove epithelium from the inside of the pocket, then epithelium from the outside grows very quickly in order to help to heal it. But if you destroy the outer part of the epithelium, then it won't be epithelial connection between the tooth and the pocket, but it will be connective tissue attachment, and that's very important because it's one grade better than if it would be only epithelial connection. So, what are the advantages? So you know how it kills the bacteria and disinfects, and also the hemostatic effect because of the chromophores. It absorbs in. Then we have a better access in anatomically difficult areas. You did not experience this, but when you treat perio pocket, then the wall of the pocket comes very, very close and very narrow, but not touching yet the tooth. So you have a very deep pocket. You cannot curettage with normal hand instruments, but with the laser you can do it. So it reaches very nicely in deep areas too. And of course it's comfortable therapy for the patient. It does not bleed. It does not. It's not painful that much at all, and there is a minimal or no need of antibiotics. And what I was talking about, the biostimulation effect of the laser, even if you didn't do it like, okay, now I will biostimulate, but the far effect of the laser will do that. And also we can do not only this closed curettage, but we can do the open curettage. What is very important that the dyed laser, it kills the bacteria, but it cannot remove smear layer. What is very useful for removing a smear layer is the erbium chromium YHGG. So first, whatever we do in perio, in endo, we first use the erbium chromium to make a very nice and clean surface, and where it's important open the dentinal tubules, and then after we apply the diode laser, so it can penetrate wherever we want it to penetrate and kill whatever we want. Because if there is a smear layer, then it blocks the effect of the diode laser, so it cannot penetrate because it absorbs in that debris, what is on the side of the pocket or the canal, because it of course has got chromophores. So that's why it's very important to clean. Okay, so here you can see in pictures, first we measure the depth, and then after we can open it with a normal surgical blade or with a laser, and then we disinfect with the laser. This is the handpiece of the laser. This is the erbium chromium YHGG, and then here we measure. Of course, we are a lot deeper, and then we put here some kind of regenerative material, and then we close the side. So let's see some in endo. There is one article which is writing that they have examined a lot of root canal treated teeth treatment with chemomechanical preparation, nothing more. But, or no, but also bacterial colonization can be found at 1,100 micrometer deep in the dentin wall of canals. In order to remove all these bacteria, which can cause many bad things in the mouth, we need some kind of instrument which can disinfect until this deep. So you can see here some studies they have done with NDR at 1,000 micrometer, not 1,100 but 1,000 micrometer. The effect of disinfecting was 85%. When they have done with diode laser 810, also at 1,000 micrometer, not in the main canal, but from the main canal 1 millimeter deep, they have found 63%. When they have done it with erbium yarn at 1,000, it was only 13%, and I don't have here, but with the erbium chromium, they have done it around 30-something%. And the natrium hypochlorite solution it reaches only up to 100 micrometer, and actually, and it's very, very sad that this is the state-of-the-art solution at the moment in dentistry. So if you don't use this, you are not a good dentist, unfortunately. But all the studies shows that it's not effective as much as a laser could be. So that's why first we use an erbium family laser, erbium yarn or erbium chromium, and then after we use an NDR or a diode laser to disinfect totally the lateral canals. And for this reason, they have developed interesting tips for the laser, so it can penetrate more on the side of inside of the canals, and you can see the very nicely open dental tubules. So this can be nicely disinfected with the diode laser, and this what shows that if they have done together erbium chromium and 940 diode, they reach 99.7% of bacterial reduction. So I think this is really good in terms of disinfecting the unreachable part of the canals. So what we do, it's also not too important, but the most important that first we remove the swill layer and then we with erbium chromium, and then the diode, the bactericidal effect, that's the most important. And all the teeth which has periapical lesion and granulation tissue around, we use both of the lasers according to Prof. Gutknecht. And what we do is our target tissues and the target is melanin, hemoglobin, and water. So in this way, we kill everything, we clean everything, and we do it 4 times in 1 canal minimum. And it's very important that the transmission of the laser is not equal to transmission of heat. So if some people are coming, oh, you cannot do it in dentistry because it will heat up the surrounding tissue and you will end up with burning the teeth. That's not true, because it has been proven also in perio pockets and also in endo that the cooling of the canal and the cooling of the perio pocket will happen between 2 applications, and also there has been done a lot of thermographic researches other type of research is in order that they may be sure, and everybody may be sure that it won't affect the surrounding tissue. Actually, you don't know that much about teeth, but I would ask you why it would be possible if there is a root canal. You can imagine a root canal, and they have done a thermographic experiment. So they go with the diode laser at the bottom of the canal till the apex, and they were coming out and they were looking at the thermograph, and they have seen, you know, blue and green are cold, and yellow and red are hot. And when they were going down, first they see blue, then green, then yellow, and then again green and blue at the apex. And they didn't know how can it happen. At the apex, there is the smallest dentin wall around the tip of the fiber, and it's very thin. And there is the nerve, and there is the periodontal ligament and everything, which should be hot because actually almost the laser touches it. So they have been going round for 3 months in order to find it out. Why is it possible? Have you got a clue? Why it could be possible? Okay, I won't tease you, but it's possible because it's called the plexus. It's system vessels around the apex. It's so thick and so quickly transporting, and where the circulation is so quick there that it takes away the heat of the laser actually. So in this way we could be very sure that we won't affect the surrounding tissue. And of course we have to keep all the rules what have been proven, that you can go 4 times the minimum, better to do 5 or 6 times in the canal, but not more than that. And of course with 2 millimeter per second, that should be the speed. So what about orthodontics? Actually this has been done with low intensity laser therapy or low level laser therapy, or it has got loads of names, but you know what I mean. That when you have canines, for example, they are up here, and you want to move them into their place. So they did an experiment. They were lasing this side, they were not lasing this side, and it was 30% more movement on the side which has been treated than the one has not been treated. So, and also it's a very good option to reduce pain and treatment duration, because it's really biostimulates all the cells. And actually one of my dentists, he told me, if it's all true about laser light, then I want to take a bath in laser light in all my life. So it's really that way. And also here, how did they treat it with the 810 diode laser? How they treated, how much power did they use, and also it was an acceleration in the moving of the tube. This is something interesting. This is corticotomy. Corticotomy means, as you will see in the next photo, is to cut the bone, the cortical actually, between the teeth. And in this way, when you put just a very actually on X-ray it's no sign of it, of course. This you can see is the initial status, and this lady has got a very deep bite, so all this irritates this part, and that's why it's grew so much. And I did not give any injection, and I, of course, this is, you can see the occlusion view where you can see the very deep bite. And this way, I didn't use any anesthesia, and I removed this irritation fibroma, and it was right immediately after treatment, no bleeding, nothing. And if you would think, where is this? This is on a place where the nerve comes out, and the blood vessels ends, so it's a very dangerous area to cut with a blade. But with laser, it was quite easy. 1 day after treatment, and then 3 days after treatment, and then 1 week after treatment. It's nice to hear. Then, of course, we have the herpes. Everyone, I think, had once in time. Nice vesicles. Immediately after treatment, and I've done it with the erbium chromium YSGG laser. Erbium chromium YSGG absorbs the most in water, and the next one is hydroxyapatite. So that's why it's good for treatment of soft tissue because of the absorption in water, and then the next one is hydroxyapatite. So, and after 1 week and no more treatment, is only 1 treatment. Okay, the impacted lower wisdom tooth. I'm sure that all of you or some of you had the opportunity to get the wisdom tooth removed, and all here are write down the patient, the anamnesis, the clinical finding, X-ray, diagnose, laser parameters, what I've used, erbium chromium, pulse mode, 2.5 watt, average power, 50 Hz, repetition rate, age mode means 50 microsecond of pulse period, 20% of air, 50% water, what type of tip, what the diameter of the tip, and how much time it was. And then after, this was the first phase when we opened the soft tissue above the wisdom tooth, and then after the 4.5 watts, average power 25 Hz, when we remove the bone from around the impacted tooth, and here is the treatment, how it was done. So this was the tooth which has been removed. We removed here the bone, and then we could nicely take it out. This is before, it was a little bit out, and then we cut with the laser. Not too nice cut, because I wanted to show it to my colleague, and actually I let her to do it, but with the laser you can make a nicer cut. And then after, of course, after the treatment immediately, and after 1 week, we could hardly find the sutures because it was so nicely healed. And the patient, you know that after taking out wisdom tooth, you swell, it's painful, you even cannot open your mouth, but all these symptoms did not come, just very, very slight swelling and everything. Even it was really hard to take out that tooth, because you can see it's so-called distal angular position. It's the hardest to take out. Okay, let's see a gingivectomy, soft tissue crown lengthening. It's not a good X-ray because this patient was referred to me, and this is an initial status. You know, it's very bad because this patient has got an auntie who is a dentist, and she just came to treat her, for me to treat her gingiva, and I just told her that wanted. This is the before. This is during treatment. This is also the erbium chromium, taking off the layers of the gingiva. You can see this is right side done, left side not done yet. This bleeding was because I probed and take off some filling material from under her gum. It's a disaster. And applying laser bandage so it won't bleed. And this is right immediately after treatment. And this much bleeding I would never have if the gingiva would be healthy. And this is after 1 week. Of course, she does not know how to brush teeth. She and her feelings are horrible. But even like that, it healed quite nice, and it's after 1 week. But I'm gonna show you a lot nicer case. So this is before and after. Of course, she wanted to have longer teeth, and I probed the pockets, so we have quite a distance to the bone, because it's very important to leave the biological width of the tooth in order not to go with crown lengthening until the level of the bone, because then it will be always inflamed. So it's very important to respect the biological width of the tooth. So let's see some hard tissue treatment. This is together of restoration, actually a filling, and soft tissue crown lengthening. Here you can see the X-ray. This is the tooth which has got a decay on the neck. And this how it looked before. All the soft tissue around it, and all these are decay. So I just removed some part of the enamel which is totally infected, and then I could see the real gap, a real hole. So when I removed a lot more, and then here you can see that I removed also the gingiva, a very slight bleeding, but it stopped after. In the next photo I did the laser bandage and then it stopped. And in this way it's very nice because no bleeding, totally clean, and also this whitish part I did with the laser in order to bond. We call it bond prepping. It means to create a surface on the tooth which is more how to say it in English. It's not very deep. It takes off the enamel very little amounts in order to create such a surface that adhesive technique would and the adhesives and the filling materials would connect a lot more into this surface than it would be just polished and not made this nice surface. And this is the end. So I did the filling. These are some parts I have to remove. This is right after the filling. But as you can see, this gingiva here is only the non-attached gingiva. Here, this is the attached gingiva, which is hard, we call it so. And then this is the non-attaching gingiva. You can pull it, and because I have to do this filling, I have to completely remove the attached gingiva in order to make the filling. So after some times I have to check and look whether there again appeared some attached gingiva to protect the tooth or not. If not, then we have to do something. We have to make a small operation to put some attached gingiva here in order to protect the teeth that the bacteria may not go into the pocket and not to have it inflamed always.